I started doing my PhD on cleaning gobies in the Caribbean. I was very interested in the behaviour, how they attract other reef fish to come down and be cleaned. But they've got very, very strong visual signals, so they're all blue and yellow with a really, really strong black stripe. So I was really interested how fish actually communicate with their colours and their patterns. So then I came to Australia to work with Justin and also Alexandra Gruter, who also works on cleaner wrasse. And then I started working on colour pattern from them. We're very, very interested in how animals in general actually process highly contrasting colours. So we know a lot about when animals can detect the difference between colours that are very close together, for example, two blues.
It's kind of like a Rubik's Cube illusion. That brown tile there and the one that looks, I guess, bright orange there, they're actually the same colour spectrally. So I'm working out whether or not he's still falling for that illusion. He's actually changed to the orange, so yeah. Well, this might be exciting. So we'll move on to this test here, and because he's changed to the bright orange one, we're still kind of hoping that he'll go for this one, even though we've increased the brightness and he looks quite similar. I'll mention that this guy really thinks about his choices too, so it might take a little while. So he's still falling for it, even though we've increased the background brightness to 90%.
But when we go beyond that, so we're looking at contrasting colours such as blues and yellows or reds and greens, we don't really know how they process those colours and how we can kind of understand it through modelling. So we're doing lots of behavioural experiments to actually look at the theory behind how they perceive these colours and whether that's matching up with their behaviour.
One of the main goals is to test how uniform discrimination is through colour space. So we're also finding that they seem to be able to discriminate low saturation better than discriminating really high saturated colours, which is really similar to what we know about humans.
But we're also interested in how these colour patterns are designed in nature, so how nudibranchs or fish might create these complex colours to be able to really provide an effective signal to be detected.
In order to put yourself into an animal's shoes, as people have been saying for centuries, what has been used is visual modelling, which therefore spectrophotometry, so going with the spectrophotometer and measuring the light that is bouncing off surfaces to model how that is perceived by an animal. So one of the key problems is that requires you to take the animal and fix it and pin it down and measure parts of its skin, of its color patterns, and you can only do that so many times. So one of the key things that I'm trying to implement is the ability to use digital photography to ultimately achieve the same thing by really carefully calibrating everything, knowing, basically tracing the photons from the moment they bounce off the surface to the moment that they create a response in the camera.
Well, what we both do is study the chemical defenses and their coloration. So for these little blue guys here, I can see what chemicals are in them, and we found that one chemical in particular, called trunculin A, is found in their yellow rims, and they sequester it there in cells for defense.
So with the Splendidus, I've also been studying their chemical defenses. So I studied different populations along the coast and showed that they have extremely variable coloration in terms of their spots, but that the yellow rim is a consistent element of their color pattern. And we paired that with behavioral experiments with fish, where fish are paying attention to and avoiding the yellow rim, but not paying attention to the spots when they're learning to avoid the color pattern, which we suggest maybe relaxed selection on the red spots, allowing those to vary across those populations.
Most scientists have got to have that drive to be successful in the field, and you've got to have that underlying passion, I think, and don't let people put you off, because you hear a lot of high school students saying that, you know, I wanted to be a marine biologist, but everyone told me that there was no jobs in the field. There is a way, you know, if you are really passionate about it, there is a way to get in the field. You get knocked back a lot of times in science, so just keep pursuing it and you'll probably get there eventually.